Hi guys, like Story of Old did a wonderful take on The Good Place and his channel. I highly recommend the video, and all of his videos really are really great work. I wanted to respond to it because I have a different take, and while I don't necessarily think he missed it or looked over it, he probably just saw something more that he wanted to add. But I just thought it was an important note to make, and I wanted to do this video so that I could point it out to everybody as a response, because basically I've watched the show, and just so you know, there's spoilers ahead. So if you haven't seen it yet, then you should go check it out. It's a really good show. But what I wanted to talk about was there's one recurring motif throughout the whole show that I think gets a little bit left undiagnosed, untalked about, unnoticed. So before I get into that, let me just play this short little clip from the show that is from Like Story of Old's video.
This is Eleanor. She's about to receive some important news.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead. Your life on Earth has ended, and you are now in the next phase of your existence in the universe. Generally speaking, in the afterlife, there's
Okay.
good.
So basically what he's doing is, the whole premise of the show is she died and went to the good place. There's a bunch of fun drama that happens throughout the series that you will have to see, but it's not necessarily relevant to this. What I think's going on here is basically, I think the whole underlying premise of the show is a meditation on the integration of the shadow. And Carl Jung is the one that spearheaded that thought. Basically what it means is to make yourself conscious of your inner desires that make you a bad or a good person, so that it makes it more easy for you to interact with your changing environment, between people and things and places, and just what it is to be human. I think it's interesting in the show that they basically frame death as the next phase of existence, and that kind of goes along with the symbolism aspect of it, that death is more of a spiritual death, in the sense that part of her is death so that is dead now, and she's given the opportunity to change and basically resurrect into a new person. And spoiler alert ahead is that she ends up being sent back. And so that just kind of completes the theme of the symbolic death and resurrection, but also being able to integrate your shadow so that you're a better version of yourself due to this event that happened. So I think it's a really important way to think about this show, because while the show, I think, is doing a very good job of doing it subtly, I don't think most people are picking up on that. But I think the other way is just that if they do pick up on it, it shows that modern television is very deep these days. And like, this is a very important subject that gets a lighthearted appreciation here. I really like that this show took the time to do that. What else was I going to say about this? But there wasn't really, I didn't really see it beyond, like, there was so many other layers to this show. I think a lot of people could dissect it any which way, because there's a lot of philosophy built into it, of course. But this was like the whole main takeaway for me. It wasn't like, crazy over the top psychoanalytic or anything, but it did have like those homages and that sort of thing to past philosophers and that kind of thing. But it didn't necessarily, I think this was the main theme. And I think that like Ted Danson's character is like sort of personifying her shadow. And so throughout the thing, she sees him as like the good guy, the bad guy, and then reintegrates him as sort of both. sort of like knowing, like it's sort of like coming to, it's like seeing the world is sort of like this, your ignorant state, which is before she died. And then when she is in the good place, she is shown the errors of her ways, and she's made humble. She's been made humble so that she is open to seeing that the good place is actually the bad place. So now that she's been able to see both good and evil, she's no longer innocent, right? And so she's given a chance to integrate those things into her being and become a conscious and aware person. So that's what it means, I think, for this show. This isn't a very polished video. I apologize for not having it more laid out and everything, but I thought it was a really interesting idea, and I just wanted to get it up really quick. I would love to hear your feedback in the comments, so please feel free to do that. And definitely make sure you check out Story of Old's page and subscribe to his channel. As always, this is a fun discussion, and I look forward to many more.